All right, well, Padres, they lose game 1 of spring training to the Dodgers. That was a very fun watch, 14-1. We were waiting all off season. Can we just get to 2024? Because we know last year, right, they weren't making the playoffs, and we were just waiting for the season to end, and then we were waiting for spring training, the optimism, and Mike Schilt coming in as the new manager and getting to see Joe Musgrove healthy. Was it too much to ask just for, an inning of Joe Musgrove? A nice solid inning? Yeah, obviously it was too much to ask. He ended up not recording an out. Obviously, he was on a pitch count. He was only planning to go 1 inning anyway, and he threw the amount of pitches without getting an out that he would have, or that he was hoping to throw in 1 inning. So there was that. It's spring training. I don't care really how Joe Musgrove did today. It's his first outing. It's 1 inning. Would he approach Dodger hitters differently if it was a regular season game? Yeah, of course. There was, I think, the Teoscar Hernandez at bat where I think it was 3-2. He was struggling with the breaking ball a little bit, and he threw another breaking ball. I don't know if he would do that in the regular season. So let's just disregard what happened with Joe. And I'm not going to overreact even with Yuki Matsui. Now, it was great that he looked really good, and you had opposing Dodger players like Gavin Lux saying post-game that he looks pretty damn good. The splitter seems nasty, sneaky fastball. I like seeing the windup and kind of the pause, and it's a little bit different. I like what I saw, but it's 1 inning. It's the first outing of spring training. Jackson Merrill was someone that stood out to me today in left field. Obviously, the transition to the outfield. I think he's on the opening day roster as of now. Things could change, but him in left made a couple good reads. The first one where he had to dive, I don't know how great of a play that actually was, but makes the catch. Had to go back on a ball, made that catch. Good jump on a ball to his right. Made that catch on a line drive towards the line. So there were some good moments there. Only had a couple of at-bats. Ethan Salas got into some action. The umpire couldn't give the 17-year-old a break on the pitch clock violation. Come on, really? It's spring training. It's 14-1 or whatever the score was at the time. I think we can allow Ethan Salas to have another half second. I get it's the rules and you're trying to enforce them, and you have to enforce them, but whatever. It's spring training, day 1. Did you want to win the game 14-1 instead of losing it 14-1? Yeah. Did you want Joe Musgrove to have a solid inning instead of not being able to record an out? Yeah. Did you want Jackson Merrill to have a hit? Yeah. It was good to have Jake Cronenworth have a homer. That was good to see, and there was an adjustment. If there's a takeaway from today that I could, you could actually take away and not overreact to, it was probably Jake Cronenworth, not the home run, because that's probably overreacting to, oh, Jake is back. But the adjustment, I don't know if you saw this, but there's an adjustment with Jake where he is placing his hands on the load before his swing. Last year, his hands were lower. This year, they're higher. So we'll see what results that ends up garnering. We know that Jake Cronenworth works his butt off. He wants to win. He cares about the city and winning for the city. I think that was clear in the interview that Sammy Levitt did with Jake this week at spring training. So I'm sure he was trying a lot of different things in the offseason. He knew that last year was not good enough for him, and he's making the tweaks. So I'm very interested in seeing how Jake does here in spring. And obviously what he does during the season, because Jake is going to be a huge part of this Padres team, regardless of if they're good, if they're not. Because sure, there's the big stars. There's Tatis and Manny and Bogarts, and then you can add Kim on that too as a key player. But with Jake, if he doesn't bounce back, that's another year where the first base production is nowhere near other Major League first base production. And once you get past the first half of the lineup, what does the bottom half of the lineup even look like? So I think Jake is a big part of that, because if the top of the order is, Tatis, Bogarts, or Tatis, Kim, Manny, Bogarts, after those 4, maybe it's Campusano after that, him and Cronenworth are going to be relied upon heavily, right, to drive in runs. and take what the situation is giving them with guys on base. They didn't come through good enough at all with runners in scoring position last year, and that's definitely including Jake, especially high-leverage situations. I was reading in The Athletic about how bad he was in high-leverage situations last year, where 2022, I think his OPS was like over 1,000 in those high-leverage situations. So if he can get back closer to that, he's going to be a huge positive, a big X factor in this Padres team's success or failure, if it ends up not working out today, or it should be this year. Today, it definitely did not work out. But yeah, that's really my thought, my main big takeaway thought from this game. Blown out by the Dodgers. Hey, we got a chance tomorrow as well. But good thing, with spring training, you can laugh about this. Watching in the first inning, I'm like, oh, this sucks, but I don't care. Whatever. Because it's spring training. It's spring training for a reason. They can work on things. These games don't matter. Now, if in Korea, if I'm sitting at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's 14-1, yeah, that's going to feel a little bit worse than this for sure. So, game 1 done. Game 2 tomorrow against the Dodgers. This time it's going to be in Glendale.